Miniclip was, at one point, one of the world's largest publishers of online flash games. Ask anyone what their favorite game from the site was and you'll get a plethora of answers. For some, Miniclip was their introduction to massive multiplayer games such as RuneScape or Club Penguin, or it was the only place they could find exclusive titles like Raft Wars or Robot Rage. Miniclip was one of the first websites for flash games and has been a huge influence on the culture of gaming for the past 20 years. But now, if you look at their website, all but 2 of their original Flash games are gone. In October of 2022, Miniclip removed all of their games from the website and are now only active in the mobile gaming space. But why would Miniclip, who arguably dominated the online gaming market, make the decision to remove all of their online games that were responsible for their multi-billion-dollar success? To answer these questions, we'll take a look at the origins of the company, then how they've grown and adapted to changes in gaming and technology, and finally, where the company stands today and how investments from large technology conglomerates might shape their decision-making in the future. In 2001, in a small apartment in England, Miniclip was founded shortly after Rob Small graduated from university. The internet was still a wild place, and Rob wanted to get in on the action by starting his own .com business. Rob and his business partner, Tahan Presby, dove headfirst into starting an internet company that focused on entertainment. At the time, almost 100% of the revenue from games was from PC and console sales, so Rob and Tahan made the decision that all the games on their site would be entirely free to play. If the barrier to entry to get on the site were low, gamers would be more inclined to log in, stick around, and play more games while ads ran in the background. So the idea for a gaming platform was there, but the games were not. To solve this dilemma, the duo set out to make their first title called Dancing Bush, starring George W. Bush, who had just been elected to his first term as President of the United States. After filming Tahan breaking down some dance moves in the kitchen of his apartment to make animation easier, the duo finished programming the game by the end of the week and shared it to a small number of friends and family. To Rob and Tahan's dismay, nobody had even given them an acknowledgement that they had been sent the game. It seemed that Dancing Bush was going unnoticed, until the IT team called them a couple weeks later. They called to report that the servers were breaking down, in a good way. 5,000 users were trying to access the site at once to play Dancing Bush. But why was the game so successful? Well, you have to understand that the 2000 presidential election was really close. So close that although George Bush lost the popular vote, he barely managed to win the Electoral College, securing his presidency. Since the victory was so contentious, people were more than happy to find new and creative ways to poke fun at the new president. Capitalizing on this, Rob and Tahan intentionally made a very silly game with George Bush, arguably the first meme of the internet age, knowing that people would be enamored by it. The game was freely picked up by news and political sites. If an organization wanted to put the game on their site, all they had to do was download the already formatted for web flash file from miniclip.com and then simply upload it to their own site. Additionally, any person could simply download the executable file of the game and email it to friends. In fact, you can go onto Internet Archive right now, use the Wayback Machine to find a snapshot of the site from 2001, and still download the file and play it yourself, which is how I got this footage. This ease of syndication became important publicity for the young Miniclip. The decade following the success of Dancing Bush would be the golden age of flash gaming. While much of the games in the years following were a bit crass, some true gems emerged from the rough. In 2004, Miniclip was able to publish the hugely popular MMORPG RuneScape to the platform, driving a huge amount of new and younger players to the game. That same year, Heli Attack 2 debuted, which was followed by Heli Attack 3 in 2006. Other classics like Sushi Go Round, Motherlode, and another hugely popular social game, Club Penguin, made their way to the platform. I apologize if I forgot to mention any other hugely popular games that were on Miniclip. There are simply too many to list. But Miniclip was not without its competitors. particularly from the booming social media platforms that were developing, such as Friendster and MySpace. Between 2005 and 2008, these were the place to be for social gaming and was the platform where studios like Zynga and Rocky earned their success. However, an up-and-coming social media platform, Facebook, quickly began taking over the social media scene and with it, the casual gaming market. But instead of making the easy decision to port all their games into Facebook and dive headfirst into the gold rush of Facebook gaming, Miniclip decided to instead use the burgeoning social media site as the springboard to drive traffic into their own platform. This ended up being a smart decision, as most of their audience were young people who didn't really use Facebook gaming in the first place. Decisions like these are part of the reason why Miniclip can stay so successful and relevant. They hardly jump on the bandwagon of new technologies and fads, so they never waste any money on things that might not pan out. Despite Miniclip's success as the largest private publisher of Flash games, around 2009, their finances started to take a significant hit. They weren't alone here. Many game publishers whose main portal to gaming was through a desktop were starting to lose valuable traffic. Around this time, mobile gaming was gaining in popularity, particularly among young people, which diverted valuable traffic to gaming on phones and tablets. Games such as Fruit Ninja, Angry Birds, Doodle Jump, and many others were grabbing the attention of young gamers. Miniclip would need to start transitioning to the mobile gaming market if they wanted to remain successful. Miniclip entered the mobile games development industry in 2009 with the opening of their first mobile games development studio in Portugal. The challenge that Miniclip was facing now was transitioning their resources from being strictly a web-based games publisher to a mobile games development powerhouse. It was a huge gamble for the company, since they didn't even know if the mobile gaming market would develop into something substantial. If mobile gaming were to just be a fad that would die down in a few years, then Miniclip's huge investment into mobile games development and publishing would be a complete waste of money. Apparently, this transition was so difficult that Miniclip, which had been profitable since year one, almost went out of business. Although this transition was tough, Miniclip soon found success. In 2010, a game called 8-Ball Pool was released for the web and converted to mobile in 2013. Within a short time frame, it became the most downloaded pool app of all time on mobile. To put into perspective how massively successful this app was, in March of 2022, Miniclip as a company had reached 4 billion mobile downloads, and 8-Ball Pool was responsible for 1 billion of those downloads. So 25% of all the Miniclip mobile gaming apps downloaded ever were 8-Ball Pool. Insane. Another game, Agar.io, a game in which players control a cell in a petri dish and try to gain mass by eating agar and other players, was released for mobile in 2015 and also saw critical success. The successful push into mobile gaming got the attention of Tencent, a massively successful Chinese multinational technology and entertainment conglomerate who owns large stakes in other notable gaming companies, including Riot Games, Epic Games, and Ubisoft. In February of 2015, Tencent acquired a majority stake in Miniclip, who had grown to 140 personnel in 4 offices across Europe. Having this new partnership with Tencent meant a couple of things for Miniclip. For starters, Tencent is a company with a market value of over $500 billion, meaning that they have plenty of cash lying around to invest in businesses to grow them at a rate that simply would not be possible without a large volume of capital. Second, it offers a roadmap for Miniclip affiliated publishers to have their games localized for the incredibly lucrative Chinese games market, which is censored and impossible to navigate without the help of a Chinese games publisher. In February of 2023, what is Miniclip doing now? In April 2022, Miniclip announced that it would begin prioritizing mobile games over its web-based gaming platform. As a result, Miniclip shut down their browser games portal in late October of that same year, but kept its 2 most popular games, Agar.io and 8-Ball Pool, running on their website. This announcement, coupled with Adobe Flash shutting down at the end of 2020, marked the end of an era in gaming and, ultimately, the loss of a ton of internet history. Although Miniclip is out of the Flash games business, you can still access a vast library of games on other websites who use software to preserve their games, like Congregate, or sites that converted their Flash games and now only support HTML games, like on Addicting Games or Armor Games. One application that I recently stumbled upon, Blue Maxima's Flashpoint, is a piece of software dedicated to preserving Flash games for the purpose of saving internet history and culture. So check them out if you're looking to relive some classic gaming experiences. It makes sense from a business perspective why Miniclip moved entirely to mobile. It was the only real choice the company could make if they wanted to continue to grow, no doubt influenced by their parent company, Tencent. Am I sad about this? Absolutely. But it's also made way for other platforms to try and capture what the Wild West of Flash gaming was like during the 2000s. Although Flash gaming is dead on Miniclip, the memories we've made playing games like Motherload or Heli Attack and so much more will live on. Thanks so much for tuning in for another video. If you liked the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and if you want to keep up with more content like this, feel free to click the subscribe button as well. But thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.